Shalom and welcome back to my channel. Just here to give you guys a little bit of news on a fight I spoke to and some other news that's going on in regards to upcoming fights and such. First, I want to start with Christian and Bailey and Kevin Lele Sajo. I spoke to this before. I told you guys that they have an IBF eliminator that they're going to be fighting each other for in order to become the mandatory for William Skull. Of course, we've been hearing about Canelo wanting to regain his IBF title back by fighting William Skull. First, I'll say the Mbili and Sajo fight has not totally been set up because they are having a hard time deciding whether or not to fight in Canada or in Paris, France. The thing is, they are both considered French fighters, even though Mbili is out of Canada. Mbili is 28-0 with 23 knockouts. Kevin Lele Sajo 24-0 with 21 knockouts. Also told you guys that their styles are so very similar that it probably would be hard to actually pick who wins. I personally believe Mbili will win due to the fact I've seen Mbili come back from adversity and get the W. I've seen him have to dog it out. Kevin Lele Sajo, I have not. He is a brawler as well, but he also seems to be more of a boxer brawler. I just haven't seen him come out of adversity. I haven't really seen him have to go through a grueling fight. I haven't Billy winning. I honestly think that it would be a great idea if they would have that fight in Paris. I mean, surely that country, they won another champion. I think the last one they had was Tony Yoka, who was beaten. So they won another champion. And of course, they would love to probably have a match like that because it will be a barn burner, you guys. They would love to have that in Paris. As far as the Canelo fighting Skull bit goes, I do have a problem with that because we know that Canelo will mess around and get that IBF belt and he won't fight his mandatories. And, these two guys, whoever the winner is, they'll be left standing out. And I'd rather see the winner of Mbili and Sajo fight Skull, just for the variety, just to mix it up. It is what it is. That's the news on that. As of today, I'm sure many of you have heard that Sebastian Fundora has a new challenger. We knew that it was not going to be Errol Spence. There was talks about it being Charles Conwell, which I was really hoping for. It turns out it's going to be Cordell Booker. Cordell Booker, it's kind of upsetting, to be honest. Cordell Booker is a decent fighter. There is just something that's very blaring about his style that anybody who's paying attention can take advantage of, and I definitely see Sebastian Fundora able to catch that, especially in a 12-round bout, or I'm not sure if they're coming back for a 10-round bout because he had been out and he had a hand injury. So I'm not thrilled about this pick. I do question whether or not they're just trying to give Fundora an easy fight to return. He's just a little short of a year in returning. Look, I think it's an easy fight in order for him to keep these belts. Um, as far as the EJ portion goes, I'm still pulling for EJ. I do believe that he's not done fighting. Um, for all we know, he may still have other pressing things going on in his life in regards to the lawsuit that he had, as well as the trainer portion. We don't know because he does not make us privy to that information. I'm fine with that. I'm also fine if he decides to retire. I feel like Arrow has done enough in boxing to where I feel satisfied, and I know that he was trying to fight the best competition that he could. But back to Fundora. Um, yeah, I feel like it's just an easy fight for him to come back. I do find it odd. I heard his manager, Samson Lukowitz, say out of his own mouth that he wanted that fight for Fundora for the purposes of the money. That was going to be the biggest money fight. That's also why they didn't want to fight Bud at the time. So now, I mean, look, he very well could have fought Charles Conwell. I do believe Charles Conwell is number 2 in the WBO, whereas Cordell is like number 5. Let me check real quick. Okay. Yes, so in the WBO, Sebastian Fundora is the champion. Bud is the interim. It makes sense because he's a WBO. Charles Conwell's number 2. Xander Zayas is number 1. We know Xander is going to have something coming up here. Charles was free, though. He's number 2. Cordell Booker's number 5 in the WBO. So why they're skipping over Charles Conwell, I do not know. In the WBC, Sebastian is the champion. Virgil Ortiz is the interim. Errol is number 1. Serhii Bochuk, number 2. Israel Majimov, number 3. Xander Zayas, number 4. Charles Conwell, number 5. So, Bochuk, with the exception of Spence, we know these other people have things going on, fights, right? Charles Conwell, very well, he should have been picked. I really, really, really would love to see him get a shot at these titles. But now I see Virgil is the interim, and we know Charles called out Virgil his last fight. Very upsetting for me because I know he is on the same promotional company, Golden Bit with Oscar. They're not gonna try to, they want to push Oscar. They want to push Ortiz. They're not trying to let, in my mind, they're not trying to let Conwell get his foot in there and possibly win them titles. Even though I've been saying for a few months now, I want to see Conwell and Virgil fight. And when he called him out, you guys, I was just so elated because I've been saying that. I think Conwell can beat Ortiz, and that's what I want to see. As far as that card for Sebastian Fundora and Cordell Booker, it looks like it is set for the 22nd of March. And it will be in the Michelob Ultra Arena. Now, the venue is on hold, but on the 28th of January, it looks like they will be talking to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, surely it's Tom Brown, to try to get that secured. The venue as well is making the fight for sure. It looks like they are wanting to put Elijah Garcia versus Terrell Gaucher as one of the fights on the undercard. I like Elijah Garcia. He was recently beaten by Tyrone Davis. I love Birdman fighters, for the record. Um, so I was happy for Tyrone. Um, Elijah Garcia, though, I do like. He's young and he has very good power. Now his record is 16-1 with 13 knockouts, and I think he was on a knockout streak before he was defeated. His opponent will be Terrell Gausha. Terrell Gausha, I am not. As of his last fight, yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter. He lost to Adames. It was just so lackluster. He seemed gun shy. I don't know what's going on with Gausha. Maybe he just doesn't have that extra level that he can hit. He's 24-4 with one draw, 12 knockouts. So yeah, these are two fights, to me, in my opinion, that they are setting these guys up to have easy comebacks. While Sebastian didn't lose, he did have a hand injury and he's been out, like I said, a little less than a year. With Elijah, he was, I don't know if it was a TKO or a KO, but he did lose to Tyrone Davis. I believe there is one more story floating around out here, and it is, I think it's Keith Thurman has a fight coming up here in Australia against somebody named Brock. Let me see real quick, you guys. Thurman. Crazy work. Okay, yeah. So Keith Thurman has a fight scheduled. The 12th of March against a gentleman by the name of Brock Jarvis. It will be in Australia as of right now. It looks like there's only one other fight on the undercard. Keith Thurman is 30-1 and Brock is 22-1. I have never heard of Brock Jarvis, so I will be going to look, at some film on him and check him out, get a little history on him. It's interesting. Maybe I will check out and see exactly, really what's going on with that fight, and maybe I'll speak to it again. I don't even see what weight class it's going to be at. I do believe I heard someone saying that it was going to be at welterweight, which is shocking. Actually, yeah, I think it was 78. I heard speak to this, so I still am a little shocked by 147. And also, I do have one little thing to add on quickly to tell in here, and that is a rematch between William Zepeda and Tevin Farmer. And it looks like it's going to be finalized on the 29th of March, and it'll be happening in Cancun. I am with it. I felt like Tevin put his foot in William Zepeda's ass, and yeah, that knockdown was everything. We gonna see what's really going on. I really hope that Coach Mustafa is still in Tevin Farmer's corner, because I think that is what made the difference. But thank you guys for stopping by and having a listen. I will be trying to put out some, breakdowns of these fights we have coming out. I've done Clarissa and Danielle. I would like to do Pacheco and Steven Nelson, and maybe a fight on the undercard as well, or the co-main event. So look forward to that. Thank you for coming by. Many blessings to you and your family always. Shalom.